My 7-year-old daughter doesn't get to have her grandma pick her up from school.
Illegal street racing taking the life of innocent Oregonians while their families still grieving. What are city officials and lawmakers doing to detour these dangerous crimes? While some measures have been passed to give law enforcement more policing tools, are city officials and lawmakers passing the buck on what can be done moving forward? Katu's Christina Giardinelli looks at the actions that can be taken both at a state and city level.
Put yourself in the shoes of somebody who has lost their lives in a car. Your rules and your laws in vehicles and on the road, they're not enforced enough.
In 2020, Alexandria Doyal lost her 58-year-old mother, Joann Mardis, after her vehicle was struck by other drivers allegedly involved in street racing. Now, she says she wants to see more action taken by lawmakers, city officials, and police officers.
Kind of like I can still go driving and be on 82nd and see two people that I can visibly myself see and notice that are street racing up the road.
On Monday, we asked Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler what he's doing to curb the dangerous and illegal activity that has seen a recent uptick in the Rose City. He deferred to the state.
So as the state talks about this, the main question they should be asking is what the penalties should be.
Today, I took that question to the state's House Judiciary Committee Chair, Janelle Bynum.
There have been deaths from Bend to Eugene to Portland. Recently, the uptick we know in Portland's been going on. Is there anything that the legislature can do? Is there anything in the works right now?
So the legislature can always respond to individual municipalities' concerns. So if there is a state law that's impeding their ability to crack down on a particular behavior in a community, we're always responsive to that.
She says those concerns have not been passed down to the committee from the city's lobbyists yet. I did check back with Wheeler about when he plans to do this. His spokesperson says they'll try to schedule an interview tomorrow. City Commissioner Joann Mardis also sent us a statement about how she plans to tackle this. It reads in part, if we can identify a state-level change that will further help our ability to stop these illegal activities, I would be interested in working with my colleagues and our government relations team to put that on the Portland City Council's state legislative agenda.
The U.S. Marshals in this circle,
let's get a contingency in place,
are only a fraction of federal officers involved in this operation. How's it going? Katu was the only TV station riding with the team for what was dubbed Operation Safer Multnomah.
We are going to serve an arrest warrant on a fugitive.
We rode along with marshals from Oregon, Washington, and Alaska over 4 days. Deputy U.S. Marshal Chris Tamayo is one of the team leaders.
The overall goal is to kind of flesh out, make arrests that are, gun violence, people that have been in recent shootings, finding fentanyl, methamphetamine, getting drugs off the street.
This one was wearing a white t-shirt and tan pants.
In total, K2 captured 4 arrests on camera.
Execute.
Some suspects have parole or probation violations in weapon or drug-related cases. Others had new charges in drug cases or recent shooting investigations. During the week, marshals also arrested a second suspect in the theft of more than 30 guns from a North Portland parking lot. Police arrested the first suspect in May after a chase and crash on the I-5 bridge. We also tagged along while Tamayo and fellow marshals spoke to people about a possible murder suspect.
The fugitive has no idea that we're watching his house.
Local agencies like the Portland Police Bureau and the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office each gave a list of suspects to the U.S. Marshals. The federal officers split into 3 teams to serve 28 warrants across the Portland metro.
The goal is to hopefully get people to start realizing that we are out here, we are looking for you, and, you can't, kind of terrorize the community.
K2 cameras captured at least 1 gun taken off the street. A suspect had a pistol in his waistband during the arrest.
One of our surveillance teams just saw him enter.
The final arrest we captured tied to one of the largest drug busts in Multnomah County. Deputies reported finding thousands of Xanax, Valium, and possibly fentanyl pills during a search last October.
Police with a warrant. Open the door.
Within a minute of that knock, U.S. Marshals led Wyatt Lazar Reed out of his backyard in handcuffs. Deputy U.S. Marshal Jonathan Lobel led the team that arrested Reed. He also organized Operation Safer Multnomah.
What message do you hope it sends to the community?
I hope it sends the message that the police are out here doing their best
to try and limit the violence and take the people off the street that need to be accountable for their actions.
A message each of these suspects got during Operation Safer Multnomah.
It was a case that left a lot of questions, but tomorrow their loved ones may finally claim justice. It's been 3 years since Carissa Fretwell and her 3-year-old son Billy went missing out of Yamhill County. Days and weeks passed before investigators charged Billy's biological father, Michael Wolf, with their murder. And those charges came before investigators found the bodies.
Tonight, we're learning of a plea change in the case against Michael Wolf. K2's Kelly Azer is live for us tonight with those details. So what do you know, Kelly?
Well, we know obviously over the last 3 years, Michael Wolf has been held in the Yamhill County Jail where he has been pleading not guilty to all charges. We did learn today, though, that he will be back in court tomorrow morning where he is expected to change his plea. At this point, though, we don't know exactly what that entails, if he'll be changing his plea to all of the charges or just some of them at this point.
She had a spark that couldn't be missed. That's how family and friends remembered Carissa Fretwell back in 2019. It was May of that year that she and her 3-year-old son Billy went missing. What was first a missing persons case quickly devolved into a murder case. The suspect, arrested weeks before the discovery of their bodies, Michael Wolf, Billy's biological father.
Those would be details that we couldn't share.
Back in 2019, District Attorney Brad Berry told K2 the investigation was difficult, building a murder case without murder victims.
This case is being built, since we don't have the victims' bodies, is being built on an ever-growing mountain of circumstantial evidence.
After over a month of searching, Carissa and Billy's bodies were found. Wolf has been in court a number of times since then, remaining with a not guilty plea. But now we are learning from Barry that Friday, Wolf will appear in front of a judge in Yamhill County to change his plea, almost exactly 3 years later. As for what the plea change entails, Barry declined to disclose that to K2. Even with possible closure on this case, it won't soon be forgotten by those living in the area, who in 2019 told us they were shaken by the whole tragedy.
You just never expect anything like that to happen. It's a brutal world out there.
So again, at this point, we don't know the details of that plea change. And I did ask the DA today whether or not a plea deal was on the table. We haven't heard back from him at this point. And Michael Wolf will be back in court tomorrow morning in Yamhill County starting at 8:30.